Elise here at Bowman Library with a whole new teen book spotlight. So for this week, we are taking a little bit of a spin off our holiday taking place today, Valentine's Day. But instead of taking maybe what is our usual take on Valentine's Day, we are going to use this to inspire us with our book talk for this week. Because we are going to take a look at title stories that are YA that are either anti-romance or they have zero romance in them at all, because they do exist. I know sometimes YA gets this bad rap that there's always some sort of romance or love triangle aspect to it. That's so not the case. And we have 6 titles here just to kind of give you a little taste, because there are books that do exist out there that are YA that don't have any romance or they're anti-romance. So let's get started. Our first one is Dear Rachel Maddow. So 17-year-old Bryn Harper had everything. She was an honor student, she had this cute girlfriend, and she has fun on the school newspaper, which she loved. But everything came crashing down when her older brother unexpectedly dies, and her girlfriend breaks up with her grades have plummeted, she's become depressed, and now she finds herself going to what's known in the school as the Blue Room. It's this class for juniors who are struggling with their grades or who are academically challenged, as the school puts it. Now, when she's in this class, she is assigned to write a letter to a celebrity hero. It's not going to be sent, but let's write a letter. Get all your thoughts and feelings out to this celebrity hero that you have. And Bryn decides she's going to write to journalist Rachel Maddow. Now, what starts as this one-letter assignment for Bryn turns into this daily journal letter writing exercise in which she pours out her soul, emotion, her thoughts to this journalist. It is from there that Bryn finds herself throwing her back into school life and doing things that she never thought about doing before, including running for class office against her ex-girlfriend in order to right some injustices. Now, this book is all about finding out who you are, discovering what life is, and what you would define as yourself as you try to hold everything together. This is Dear Rachel Maddow. The Lie Tree. So, this is set in Victorian England. We meet 14-year-old Faith. And Faith moves with her family to this remote island where her renowned father, this reverend who goes by the name of Reverend Sunderly, he wants to participate in a paleontological dig that is taking place there. Now, Faith is the dutiful daughter, but she's more interested in science and what she's allowed to be, given that she's a girl in Victorian England. And when she starts noticing that her father is acting strange, he asks her to hide a discovery he's made. And it's this little tree that seems to feed on lies, rewarding the liar with visions. So you go and you talk to this tree and you start telling this tree lies, and this tree rewards you with these visions. When her father is found dead, though, from an apparent suicide, Faith does not believe that's what happens, and she decides she's going to use this tree to help her find out what really happened. This, though, leads to secrets being revealed and Faith becoming a little obsessed with the Lie Tree. This is a dark, historical, intelligent fantasy and will leave you breathless. If you want an intricate plot, because this one does have an intricate plot, you need to pick up the Lie Tree. Okay, Jacoby. It's 1892, and English woman Abigail Rook has just arrived in the New England town of Newfoundland against her parents' wishes. So she's left England to come to New England. Yeah, no idea what she's gonna find there. There, she meets this guy who goes by R.F. Jacoby, and he considers himself to be a paranormal detective. Abigail soon finds herself sucked into Jacoby's world as he is investigating a serial killer who is thought to be non-human. And of course, no one's really gonna believe him, but for some reason Abigail does. If you're looking for a series, the start of a series that is part mystery, part supernatural, part gory, because there is some pretty gory parts to this one, and part fantasy, this is a great choice. Again, this is the first in a series. There's a total of 4 books in a series that is completed. So if you're looking for a series that doesn't have any romance to it, but is complete mystery, murder, paranormal solving, pick up Jacoby. The murder of Bindi McKenzie. So this is told through diaries, emails, letters, and other forms of communication. And we meet Bindi. She's a high school student who is too smart for her own good. Now she's at the top of her class. Bindi knows she has to stay there as she gets through senior year. But Bindi soon starts to realize in her journey, her quest to stay on top of her class, no one in the school, especially her classmates, really like her. In fact, everyone kind of hates her because of how smart she is and what she'll do in order to make sure she maintains that top ranking. Now, as the year continues, Bindi starts to feel like she is slipping and starting to go out of control. And she starts to become physically sick, physically ill. Now, when she starts this required new class called Friendship and Development, she starts to make meaningful relationships for the first time. And as these relationships grow and develop, they all start thinking the same thing, and they start adding up some of the things that are going on with Bindi's life and how she's feeling sick. And they cannot help but wonder if she is slowly being poisoned. This realistic book takes place in high school, and there's a murder mystery twist to it as you will not be able to put this one down. If you're in high school, you can totally relate to Bindi. Maybe not the poisoning murder plot parts, but there's a great twist to it. This is the murder of Bindi McKenzie. Someday We Will Fly. I will tell you, I love this book. If you've watched enough of these, you know I love nonfiction and historical fiction that take place in times that normally don't get shared. But they've happened and they deserve to be shared. People deserve to know what's going on. And this is one of these. This is Someday We Will Fly. So it's 1940 in Poland, and things are changing very fast for Lilia's circus-performing family. Now, being Jewish, they are forced to flee for their lives in order to avoid being caught and arrested by the Nazis. But things do not go according to plan, especially when Lilia's mother disappears. They can only help but think that she was, in fact, captured by the Nazis while they're trying to make this escape. So it's Lilia, her younger sister, who is developmentally disabled, and her father. And they decide, the plan was that they were going to leave Poland to go to China. And believe it or not, this actually happened in history. There was actually quite a few numbers that moved to China as refugees. And that's what Lilia's family ends up doing. Now, when they arrive there, they find that things are just as difficult as they were for them back in Poland, but in different ways. They find themselves living in this crowded ghetto filled with other Jewish refugees, and there's limited food, water, shelter, clothing, medical attention, and everything is scarce, and it becomes like every person for themselves. Lilia decides it's going to be up to her to save her family, leading her to make decisions and choices that she never imagined doing. But you got to do what you need to do in order to survive, right? This book explores a piece of history that usually isn't even talked about. Like, I didn't even realize as I read this book that this happened, that there were refugees that went to China, and this is the experience they had there. Now, you'll be along for the journey with Lilia as she tries to do what she needs to do in order for her family to survive. And at the same time, you'll be wondering if her mother does find them, or what happens with all of them. This is Someday We Will Fly. And our last one is How to Say Goodbye in Robots. Now, Beatrice has always been on the move from one town to the other due to her father's career. Now, how she's decided to do to cope with all of these changes, because she's never really been in an opportunity to have a stable home life, environment, school life, is that she kind of turns herself into a robot. So she kind of chooses not to have a personality. She doesn't express her feelings. She doesn't try to make any type of relationships. She's just there. The beginning of her senior year, she finds herself now living in Baltimore, and she goes to this tiny private school in which everyone there has known each other since kindergarten. So she's not only the new person, she's like infiltrating a group that's been together for 12 years. Unexpectedly though, Beatrice finds herself drawn to this boy named Jonah, who is also known as Ghost Boy to everyone else in this group, and there they start this intense friendship in which secrets about themselves and their families will be revealed, as well as what their lines are when it comes to others. This is quirky, it's filled with some dark humor. There's a tough look at mental health in here, but this look at a platonic friendship is when it will leave you guessing and asking yourself the same questions that B finds herself asking through this story and how to say goodbye in a robot. So these are just 6 of the books we have here at the library that, believe it or not, are anti-romance or they are no romance YA because, again, they exist. I promise you. We have these 6 and we have lots of others. So I encourage you to come on out. If you're looking for a YA book that doesn't have any type of romance or even is against it, come on out, check out one of these or we can help you find whatever perfect book you're looking for. I hope you tune back next week. We have a whole new teen book spotlight and I hope you have a great week.